Whenever you're choosing an estate agent, accreditation really matters. Simon Bradbury here is a proud Property Mark accredited independent agent based in St Neots, Cambridgeshire, with decades of experience and over 20 industry awards, I happen to know, Simon.
Well, get out of here, Phil. Thanks very, very much for that. Yeah, I offer real personal service, and that's fueled, Phil, by over about 42 years now of estate agency experience, and then it's supercharged by using the very latest technology to help buyers and sellers. And that's why if you buy a house or sell a house through me, you're much more likely to get a successful outcome.
You heard it here first.
Thanks both. Yes, today we're talking all about the property scene here in beautiful St Neots as we head into July 2025. So, whether you're on the hunt for your dream home, thinking about selling, or simply curious about what's happening in this market, we've got plenty to share. St Neots has always been a fantastic place to live. There's so much character here, brilliant little coffee spots, and that unmistakable summer buzz that really brings the community to life. It's no wonder more people are discovering what makes this corner of Cambridgeshire so special. So, let's get into some of the figures. Prices here in St Neots tend to line up pretty closely with what you'll see across the east of England. When you look at this chart, you'll notice the east of England has seen quite modest growth, just over 1% over the past year, with prices in St Neots closely mirroring those of the wider east of England region. Looking at average sale prices in our area, this really underlines what we've been seeing. Sold prices in St Neots have edged up by nearly 1% over the year, in line with the regional average previously mentioned. With the average sale price now sitting at just over £323,000, while asking prices are climbing a bit more quickly at around £385,000. Breaking that down by property type, if you're eyeing up a detached house, you're looking at an average sale price of about £475,000, which is pretty much identical to the regional figure. Semi-detached homes are also comparable, around £332,000 locally versus just over £347,000 across the region. Terraced houses follow the same pattern, coming in at roughly £270,000 in St Neots. Where things really stand out, though, is with apartments. Here, the average flat will cost you just under £167,000, which is quite a bit lower than the regional average of nearly £203,000. So, if you're a first-time buyer or looking to downsize, that could be a smart place to start. At the very top of the market, Land Registry has recorded some eye-catching sales over the past year. A flat selling for £290,000 and a house changing hands for just under £2 million. Altogether, there were a healthy 716 property transactions in St Neots over the last 12 months, which shows just how much activity is going on. And when you zoom out over the past 5 years, prices are now around 15% higher, giving sellers a bit of extra confidence about long-term growth. Although the actual statistics show an increase of 4% in overall house prices in the last 6 months, things appear to have changed in the last couple of weeks. Selling prices are definitely firming up and may even drop by the end of the year, despite continued demand from buyers further south. We appear to be moving into a buyer's market, and sellers need to be realistic about asking prices if they are serious about selling. Until recently, properties here were typically finding a buyer in about 11 weeks. But if choice continues to grow, you might see those timelines stretch a bit and negotiations become a little tougher. Our best advice is to have a chat with an experienced local agent like Simon, who can give you a clear picture of where the market's headed and how to price sensibly. Demand hasn't disappeared altogether though. Detached homes are still especially popular, particularly in the P190 and the P196 postcodes. And first-time buyer-friendly flats are holding their own in areas like P191 and P197. So, if you're getting started, you've got some good options. Of course, there's much more to St Neots than just bricks and mortar. The town has such a warm, welcoming feel, and that really comes alive in the summer months. There's a whole lineup of fetes, fairs and open days happening right across the summer, which is perfect if you're looking to get to know the community or want a family day out. And before we go, I've got a little local tip that sums up the spirit of the place. If you haven't yet discovered Perky Beans, you're in for a treat. This independent coffee spot started life in a pub car park, dreamed up by a former British Army soldier who decided to trade combat boots for coffee beans. She and her partner now have a permanent pod outside the Bell in Great Paxton, and they serve up amazing coffee with a side of community connection. It's these little stories that make St Neots feel so special, so be sure to check them out. So that's your roundup of the sales market here in St Neots this July. If you'd like more insight or you're thinking about making a move, feel free to get in touch with Simon, who's always here to help. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update on what's happening in our local property market. Thanks for watching.
To find out how Simon can help you, visit him in St Neots, call him on 07870 813 877 or email simon.bradbury@exp.uk.com.